Yo, I'm Will Blackman. This is Upsets Underdogs presented by WynnBET. Welcome to Las Vegas. Today, we're coming to you live from the Blue Wire studio at the Wynn. Week 13 has been a blast. The Chargers pull off a dominating victory against the Bengals. The Steelers defeated the Ravens in a close battle that came down to the wire. Surprise, surprise, the AFC North is nuts once again. And the Lions got their first W of the season against the Vikings with the touchdown pass on the last play of the game to Amon-Ra St. Brown from Mater Dei High School, USC. And that was a cool game because they dedicated that to Oxford High School in spite of the in lieu of the shooting, excuse me. In today's Upset episode, we'll break down what happened and dig into what we can learn from it all. Plus, a lot more fun stuff. So stick around. This episode is brought to you by WynnBET. Week 13 is wrapping up, but there's still plenty of time to get in on the action. So right now, download the WynnBET app and start winning today. WynnBET offers unique markets like NFL yardage leaders, team exact win totals, and a ton more. Plus, new users can take advantage of WynnBET's Bet $1, win $100 offer. If you bet just $1, you can win a free $100 bet on almost any sport: NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, college football, UFC, boxing, and more. And they're also offering a 200% wager matchup up to $1,500. For all details on these offers, download the WynnBET app now and set the odds in your favor. Offer subject to change. Terms and conditions at WynnBET.com. You must be 21 or older and present in the state where WynnBET is available. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. And no need to bring him in because he's right here. Let's go. My guy Lamb, we are here in the studio. Finally, we get to hang out. You came all the way from the East Coast. Mm-hmm. You know, it was an easy 40-minute flight for me. But man, no, I'm glad. I'm super excited. I know you were stoked. I was super nervous to come out here and get ready, but we here, bro.
Yeah, first time we link up, man, and we've been, podcast best friends for a while now.
We have been, but this is your home turf, right? This is the gambling scene, man. This is what you do. I know you came out here like game day, ready to go.
Yeah, I was fired up. I like it out here, man. I've been out here. This is my 7th time coming out here. This is the first time professional stuff.
I was making fun of you before the show. How many sports books have you hit up?
Oh, dude. It's been a good time. It's a good time. Pending on what happens in this Sunday night football game, which we'll get to in a little bit, but it's been fun, man.
So you can call 1-800-522-4700.
Yeah, you've already texted me that number. You texted me that number already. You're like, yo, make sure you have that saved, locked in, ready to go. But dude, how do you like Vegas coming out here?
It's so funny. Like, I love Vegas, and when I ordered food today, the guy brought the food, and he was like, make sure a lot of play, little sleep, and then I was just like, I'm different now. I get proper rest. Now I'm like an old man when I come to Vegas. I enjoy the restaurants. I go to a show. I get proper sleep. I do all these things like that. So it's different for me now. Once in a while we'll go to a show. My buddy is a DJ at Hakkasan, DJ Jeff Retro Hill. So yeah, pretty chill. But today, as soon as I got off the plane, though, I went straight to the Black Hole tent and I went to a tailgate. And that was pretty lit.
What's that like with the Raiders now being in Vegas? Have you noticed any different vibe from the fan base?
I noticed that is not as crazy.
Interesting.
It was a pretty chill tailgate because it was not in Oakland.
Yeah.
That's why.
You know what's wild, bro? Anytime I think of Raider fans, I think of fights in Upper Deck. Like all the time. All those videos you see on social media.
I will say that so some guys circled around. They came up to me. They were like, "Yo, if you need me to beat up anybody, let me know." So
good to know.
I'm like, okay, the real guys came in. All right, so let's get into our Thursday night props. Let's talk about these things. This is something.
You know what? I'd rather not talk about.
This is something you sprung on me about these props, and I was like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's try out these props. So you had. First TD score. That was the one you picked. None of us hit. Yeah. Gallup scored first. So I had Zeke scoring first and Deontay Harris, and you had Traquan Smith and Pollard. And what was the other one you had?
Well, Pollard did score a touchdown. It just wasn't the first.
Right, he wasn't the first.
Yeah. And then the other ones were anytime TD score.
Right.
And you know what? Props to you, man. I feel like if you
that was a big one.
That was because, dude, you play defense. How hard is it to predict if you're going to be able to score a defensive touchdown?
But it's here's the thing. It was Taysom Hill at quarterback.
You warned me about that too.
It's Taysom Hill at quarterback, and there's a chance that he can be pretty reckless. Like he can, because he's going to try to do too much. Somebody on Instagram or whoever said Taysom Hill is what it would look like when 8-year-olds use Lamar Jackson in Madden. When he said that, I was like, oh, that's so yeah, I got that. And the next other prop was favorite prop.
Yeah, you had Dallas defensive touchdown at any point in the game and the Cowboys to win.
And the Cowboys, yeah, to hit that.
7-1 odds.
7-1 odds. Cash in with your boy, Will Blackman. That's what we do here. So I come on top. I don't need to talk trash because you already feel bad. It's kind of like when my kids get in trouble. Do I need to yell even more? No, they know they messed up.
Yeah, you know just what I'm saying? Know.
That's it. All right. So we have an interesting segment for the sake us being here in Sin City, and I see on my script it's called Sin City Trivia. I'm curious.
Yeah, I kind of got to get back at you now because you just dominated me on these props. I got to put you now in the spot to, try to stump Will Blackman. So I got some props. We're here in Sin City.
What we got here?
All right, I got a couple questions here. I want to see how well do you know Las Vegas?
Oh, okay. That's tough.
Question number 1. What does Las Vegas mean in Spanish?
No clue.
That's not a possible answer.
I have no idea.
You want me to give you multiple choice?
No. Sure.
The desert, the meadows, the oasis, the plateau. You have to guess.
I'm going to say plateau.
0 for 1. It's the meadows in Spanish.
I don't know.
Question number 2.
I never leave the strip.
But you should know this.
Why should I know this?
Because you're put on the spot now and you're going to look bad in front of all these people watching.
Fair enough.
What year was gambling legalized in Las Vegas? A, 1931, B, 1926, C, 1934, or D, 1922?
34.
Close, very close. 1931. So 0 for 2.
I was not going to know that one. You have the most random quizzes.
This one you got to know, though.
I feel like know.
As a sports guy, you should know this one.
Larry
What was the first major professional sports team in Las Vegas?
Is the Knights?
Yeah, there you go. Okay, we're on the board. We're on the board. 1 for 3, bat 300. You're in the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? All right, this next one, last one, and then we'll get into some upset picks. I'm going to list a few movies that were shot in Las Vegas. You got to tell me which movie is the oldest of the bunch. The original Ocean's 11, Diamonds Are Forever, Godfather Part 2, or Rocky 3.
Gosh. I don't even know.
There was no chance that I was going to get this one either. So
I would say Rocky.
No, the original Ocean's 11, 1960.
I never seen any Ocean's 11s.
I got to say, Brad Pitt in the Ocean's movies, best collections of outfits any actor's ever worn on a movie.
All right, that trivia sucks. So we're moving on. Let's get into our upset breakdown. Dun-dun-dun. All right, let's jump into our upset breakdown. This is where we dig into the biggest upsets of Week 13. After that, we will crown our upset of the week. If I keep looking, it's because I come to Vegas and I am a major people watcher. So I just watch anybody walk.
So yesterday I recorded something and I sat in that chair and I kept getting distracted.
Is that why you sat in that chair? So that's why I'm not distracted because I'm still rolling. I'm still getting it done. So our first upset, Chargers beat the Bengals. That was actually interesting because if this game was September, it wouldn't be like this. I think the Chargers would have been favored, but the fact that the Bengals are beating impressive opponents the way they are, they were the favorite in this. Burrow had a tough game. He's battling a hand injury. He threw a couple picks and lost a fumble. Chargers got a defensive touchdown, which was interesting. And then Burrow came through. He threw some absolutely insane, ridiculous passes. Absolutely insane. And then T. Higgins, I have him and Jamar Chase on my team. So if Jamar isn't there, T. Higgins, but Jamar did have a really bad drop,
dude,
which turned into that was a walk-in
touchdown. Would have been on SportsCenter, would have been everywhere, Instagram, the whole nine. And he kind of bobbled it, Will, and it looked like the ball hit his hand, and he felt like he had it, and then started running downfield, and then just bobbled it right into the DB. Maybe the easiest into that dude ever got.
Yeah, then the Chargers instantly, they went up 24-zip, and then the Bengals came back unanswered because they just had that pedigree where they can score. They have the ability and the talent where they can go score. So what are some gambling takeaways from this one, man?
Well, it was interesting how all the scoring in this game came in bunches, like 24-0, then 24-22, and then unanswered again for the Chargers. But this one was a little bit of a back and forth from the betting perspective. You did have 70% of the bets coming in on the Bengals as a home team. Last week, we saw the Chargers get blown out against the Broncos. You see the Bengals are rolling now. They're a team that has position to potentially.
So you weren't wrong picking the underdog was like, this would have been a favorable game to pick the underdog to win some money.
Yeah.
It's kind of like last night with Alabama. Like that was stealing money if you bet Alabama to win and they were the underdog.
Yeah, it's very rare where like Nick Saban is catching close to a touchdown, 6.5 points, and then they just dominated them. But also, you talk about like matchups, right? What is the one thing that the Chargers do terribly on defense? It's stopping the run.
Right.
Mixon's coming off these like back-to-back 150 yard
and he got injured.
And then he got hurt too. But Herbert just like lit it up again, man.
Yeah, if you get into a shootout with Herbert, like he likes that. He wants to do that.
He wants to play fast and keeping it up pace.
All right, our second upset, which was actually yours. The Steelers beat the Ravens. That's why you don't bet on the AFC North. Shout out to
again, less than 3
Haley.
points. Yeah, shouts to Haley.
Haley was like, don't touch the AFC North. Big Ben leads the Steelers in the comeback win. This is interesting because this is the type of game too, right? Tomlin versus Harbaugh. Like this is the type of game. Like was it 17 times they played each other or something like that? How many times was it?
Over 30.
Over 30. That's
three
what it was.
times in NFL history, two coaches play each other that many times.
So they come back win after trailing 10-3 in the third. Ravens scored late to Sammy, but the 2-point conversion, that was tough.
I want to ask you because I love the call. Even though I had the Steelers winning this,
that was the right call.
I love it because if I got a guy like Lamar who's won MVP, he's a dude who I trust.
Versus kicking, right?
Versus kicking. Like, I rather go and get the W there as opposed to you kick the field goal, you go to overtime. Pittsburgh might get the ball back, score a touchdown. Lamar never gets to get the ball again.
Right.
Are you, as a player on a team, are you for that, the offense going for 2 there?
I'm fine with going to win. That was the right call. It was a bad throw.
Yeah. Yeah, if it's bad execution, then it is what it is. But
now Detroit, when they went for it on 4th down and they were on their own 32 with I think they had 8 minutes left in the game. I forget what it was. No.
Right.
Now they still ended up winning, but still. So what were some takeaways from this one before we move on to the next?
So this is a trend in this game and the one we're going to preview in just a second. Close to 75% of the spread handle was coming in on the road favorite.
Okay.
In division, I kind of just pursue with caution. Like, I'd rather bet the dog or not bet it at all.
Right.
Just because it's in division, like Haley was talking about. You've talked about this too. You play an opponent twice.
Right. Common opponents are tough.
Right.
Because you don't know where the adjustment is going to come from. You know, maybe one player was doing something. We're going to go after this. We don't, as the analyst or the observer, we don't know unless you're actually in it. So those are super tough. You just don't know. Yeah,
and especially when you have the team that's an underdog playing at home.
Right.
That kind of is maybe, in my opinion, another point to the point spread there. So that's where you saw that. And everyone that was on the Steelers won. People on the Ravens were upset.
Which is why we're going to get to our last upset, to your point. Which one we have here?
Similar situation. Yeah. You have a Niners team that's been hot. Seahawks, what's everyone talking about? Is Russ coming back? Is it over with?
Killing them.
Right.
Killing them
the
all
whole
year.
Week. Common theme with the Seahawks and the Steelers this entire week. No one was on them. Big Ben should retire. Russ should get traded. Ask out the whole 9. And then the Niners, 80-20 rule. 80% of the bets were coming in on the Niners.
Yep.
As a road favorite against a division opponent.
At home.
Prime time, we saw the Seahawks on Monday Night Football looking all bad. What happens? Seahawks went outright.
See, that's what's interesting is like I use that kind of logic, meaning like they're going to get up and play well despite going through their troubles against 49ers. I should use the same logic for the Steelers, like the same exact thing. See, I always learn stuff from you in gambling, man. You know, I'll tell you what. I'm telling you, the number one thing I learned when it comes to betting is Get out your feelings.
Bet numbers, not teams.
Bet numbers, not teams. Get out your and then look at the big picture, right? Like look at the whole story, the big picture of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where it happens. All right. Well, this show was brought to you by WynnBET. So what are you waiting for? Download the WynnBET app and start winning today. New users can take advantage of WynnBET's bet $1, win $100 offer. If you bet just $1, you can win a free $100 bet on almost any sport: NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, college football, UFC, boxing, and more. And they're also offering a 200% wager matchup up to $1,500. Nick, what are you liking this week on the WynnBET app? By the way, they let me in it now, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if you jump on board with this one. I'm going to the main event, UFC 269. You got Charles Oliveira, the champion at 155, fighting Dustin Poirier. This is a similar situation, Will.
That's going to be a
very good fight. Dustin Poirier, one of my favorite fighters in the game. However, we're trying to win money. Don't bet with your feelings. Champions as underdogs in title fights are 19-5.
How about that?
In the last 24 fights. Charles Oliveira is plus 140. I hope I'm wrong because I like Dustin Poirier, but I would bet Oliveira in this situation here.
If you're trying to win money, yes. That's why, like last night, a buddy asked me, he said, what do you think about this game, Georgia or Alabama? I said, if it's a friendly bet, pick Georgia. If you're trying to win money, I said bet Alabama. That's kind of how I am, right? Like, emotionally friendly is like, I want Dustin to win.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm trying to win dough, probably them. What I like to look at too is Gervonta Davis is fighting tonight. Tank Davis. He's fighting Cruz. That should be interesting. I think Tank is 7-1 right now. But it's a tough matchup. I think he's just going to like abort mission and it's going to be a slugfest here. Like I mentioned, we got my man, Mr. Grant. I call him Mr. Grant Phillips is here. He's in the building somewhere. I should get him through here to talk about him. How does he give these crafted gloves for everybody? You know, like it's this dude, him.
Yeah.
Grant. I love Grant boxing gloves. I need a pair. I need some 14 ounces. So, for all the details on offers mentioned earlier, download WynnBET and set the odds in your favor. Offers subject to change. Terms and conditions at WynnBET.com. Must be 20 or older and present in a state where WynnBET is available. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. All right. Our third segment, we get into the upset of the week. How about that? Put your hands up for Detroit. You know about that? Because you like house music. Don't even try to act like
I actually don't like
stuff.
house music at all.
Why you don't?
I'm a hip hop head, man.
So
come on, look
I.
at the shirt.
Put your hands up for Detroit. I love this city. Can we get Noah? Can you please play that track when I talk with the Lions? But the Lions beat the Vikings. Last minute walk-off touchdown to Amon-Ra St. Brown, winning 29-27. They were a -7 underdog. Finally, the Lions, despite the Lions doing something crazy of why they were losing games, they go down there and get it done. But I will say this about that play. Minnesota, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for those playing red zone defense, I'm talking about plus 20, like high red zone, plus 20 in. And they are going to throw to win the game. Defensive backs, you put your heels on the goal line and you do not move. You make them throw the ball over your head. What happened was the defensive backs for the Minnesota Vikings started bailing back. And all you got to do is sit down in front and just catch the ball right there on the goal line. That's exactly what happened. I think they ran like the two inside receivers ran slants to clear out the two middle defenders. Then Amon-Ra St. Brown ran like a small, like a 3-yard, like a 5-yard in, whatever, almost like a slant. And he sat down right there and just like almost boxed out. Like what Brady does with Mike Evans, just box out in front and score a touchdown. That was bad defense. And I would be sick if I was Mike Zimmer because he's a defensive back guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he does. And you have your defense do that. That's bad. But shout out to the Lions. I would say this about Dan Campbell's Lions. Despite them not winning a game, they compete.
Oh, yeah.
They fight every single week to try to get a win.
You know who loves the Lions? Sports bettors. 8-4 against the spread.
Oh,
So listen, Will, good teams win, great teams cover.
No,
now, I know
they
the
do.
record. The record doesn't show it. They have it. A lot of their games have come down to the wire. If you look at that
even the
first
Baltimore game
and that first Minnesota game,
right?
You had the fumble there,
right?
So I think the guy, and I was texting you about this, the guy that's going to get it the most is Kirk Cousins this week.
He's going to get lit.
You just know that
he's going to get lit up.
Social media and these talk shows are not going to be kind to Kirk.
Not at all. They're going to absolutely. I know Ryan Clark is going to blow him up on ESPN and all that stuff. But yeah, huge kudos to the Lions for getting that win for Oxford High School.
Yeah,
that was huge. You know, they wore the decal on the helmet, the O, and so that was super. I think just energetically, just good spirit, good aura. I think all that lined up, and for them to win it just like that, I don't care if they get another win this season. For them to win it just like that was beyond cool. So big applaud to Coach Campbell for that.
Yeah, and then in the post game, he dedicated that game ball to everyone there. Plus 255 on the money line for the Lions. Biggest underdog to win outright this weekend.
Very nice. All right. So that's it for today's episode, guys. This is what happens when you're in Vegas. I was so excited, and I'm probably going to go crash, but I'm not going to go crash. I'm going to go to Wally's and get some wine. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. My boy Jamal's up in here, and my best friend Jamal from childhood. But next episode, we're going to preview week 14 games. And guys, watch the show because we definitely win you guys some dough today. Okay? Like, I'm not here just doing this because I'm doing this. I'm trying to help you win some dough. That's what we do here.
You had the Seahawks, I had the Steelers. $100 wins you $750.
$100 wins you $750. You know you can do a $750?
A lot
with $750. So this has been Upsets and Underdogs presented by WynnBET, coming from you from the Wynn in Las Vegas. Do not forget to subscribe to us for rating and review. Tell your friends. Follow me on all socials at Will Blackman on everything. Instagram, I'm chill, I'm nice. I post pictures of like my family and wine and stuff like that. On Twitter, I talk trash, but friendly conversation. Where can they find you, Nick?
Nick Day is 10 on Twitter and Instagram.
Tremendous Lamb. That's where they changed that. All right, catch you next time. Peace out.